On this episode of Geekdadlife, we're going to talk about the San Diego Comic-Con at home exclusives and maybe some of those new Lando rumors. Hey everybody, and welcome to Geek Dad Live. I am one of your hosts of this live program. I'm Jay, and with me on this show and this journey of liveness is Ralph. How you doing, Ralph?
Doing good. How are you?
I am doing okay for Thursday, which we usually record these, but this week is hurting a little bit. I mean, it's just 2020 has just been a lot of hurting, but it's tough because this would have been Comic-Con week. We would have been, this is
yesterday. This is day one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yesterday would have been preview night.
Yep.
You would have already had In and Out.
Yeah, that would have been
okay. So the other day, I'm playing my weekly Fireball Island game, and the In and Out that's like a block or two that way.
Yep.
There was enough breeze coming into the window where I could smell it. I don't know.
Sounds lovely. Sounds lovely. Yeah, that's okay. It's honestly for the best that I don't live near an In-N-Out burger because, I would just eat it all the time.
To eat it?
Yeah, exactly. It's better that it's over 2,000 miles away, so that way, I only have it every now and then. But in this 2020 world, I have not been to California yet this year, which is weird because I travel a bit, and yeah, it's at least I go for Comic-Con, and yeah, it's just nothing. Whole butter,
right?
Nothing,
right?
But that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody likes the new little ticker we got down here on the bottom, and I'm going to add this one now. Your comment could be read on air, so definitely hit us up on the comment section, and make sure to hit the like button. The like buttons are important, so definitely do that if you haven't already. But one of the topics that I want to cover, because usually as we prepare for this show, we'll kind of exchange notes, over text, like what we're going to talk about. And one of those is the Comic-Con exclusive Plasma series, Louis Tully and Vince Clortho set. I'm really pumped about it.
I sent that to you today, assuming you had already seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You probably have some sort of alert. Or just like a group of friends.
Yeah, it's a bit of everything. It's like I have my toy friends that'll send me stuff, and I'll have a multitude of things that'll pop up. But
yeah, I have friends that send me any kind of sort of like Godzilla stuff.
Yep.
And this week I received a lot of Arrow Videos releasing a Blu-ray box set of all the Gamera movies. And I'm like, cool. I pre-ordered it on iTunes like 2 weeks ago. Got all 12 Gamera movies on iTunes. I believe they're 4K because that's how Arrow Video does it.
Yeah.
And they usually just load each movie that they do full of extras. $2.99 each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I knew a gold digger.
Yes, welcome. Here to support the geeks. Welcome to the program. You have gone, are you buying any like physical media anymore, or are you going iTunes streaming?
Just the tapes.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped collecting tapes, really. I have enough, and I'm not doing anything with it. I'm supposed to be making that puppet for the VHS dude, but
go back there. I see it.
Yeah, he's in the corner. I displayed my Kenner.
Yeah, your Vader case.
My Vader case. Yeah, I don't like. It was maybe about 10 years ago or so, maybe even more. that it was 2011.
Okay.
Because I was able to download a Green Lantern app, which was from Comixology, and it was an app that just had Green Lantern comics.
Yep.
I ended up selling like my entire collection of DVDs, which was somewhere around the neighborhood of like 600. I sold all of them and then got an iPad. Before I sold them, I ripped them and put them on a hard drive so I could still watch the movies. But I mean, this, living in Southern California is pricey, and I live in an apartment, which is still pricey, but there's not a lot of room to display stuff. So it was easier for me to sell comics, sell DVDs, so I can get an Apple TV and iPad. And so it's like I get to still read all the stuff and watch all this stuff, but it just doesn't take up much room.
No, I get it.
Just recently, I dumped about 500 VHS tapes, and I still think I have 300 here.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's, that's where, like, I love California. It's my birthplace. It's my home. It feels like home when I go to San Diego, but you can't beat North Carolina living where my mortgage, which I'm pretty sure is less than your rent. I probably have, 10 times the space or something. It's just
probably buy like $800, I would say.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And my house or my apartment could probably fit in like your bedroom.
You have a nice apartment, though.
Crazy.
Nice apartment.
It's fine, but I mean, you don't have to deal with people living below you, stomping around or you don't have to walk to a laundry room where you pay to do your laundry. So like there's definite advantages to not living in an apartment.
That's true.
So, and one of them is the space to collect all these toys. So if a new something comes out, Green Lantern related or what, like you have room for your Vince Clortho. You have room for your Louis Tully. It's now, are you going to, I mean, I'm not telling you how to do things, but from the way it looks, like you should be able to put him with his back up against the glass of your cabinet and have him look like he's sliding down with the dog up against him.
Yes.
Oh man, that's so great. The shirt untucked.
It's really nice. And Mattel did a pretty good job with their Louis Tully figure, kind of in that post Vince Clortho state. But yeah, I really dig this set, and I think it's cool that the Terror Dog, that was the Build-A-Figure with the first series, the plasma figures, was only one, and generally you want two Terror Dogs. So not only do you get a Louis Tully, but you also get another Terror Dog, so you can have two.
Cool.
One could be Vince, and one can be Zool. And you get this sick Louis Tully to go with it. So, and there's opportunities for maybe just a straight Louis Tully without his shirt. Oh, it'd be great to get him in that tracksuit. His little workout suit,
or with the thing for his head, the sort of colander looking.
It comes with the colander.
Oh, it does? Oh, yeah, that's right there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
It's really cool. It's a really cool set. Really excited about it. There's a great description and kind of little write-up Hasbro did. If you go to HasbroPulse.com, I actually captured a video, but it wouldn't upload on my thing that I do for the live shows. But definitely check it out. It kind of goes into a little in depth on why they chose this as a Comic-Con exclusive, and they talk a little bit about the plasma series in general. I thought it was a cool little article, so definitely check that out. I want to interview some of the people from Hasbro that are doing this line because I have some questions, so I'm gonna really try and start poking around and see if I can get some of these people to come on the channel and talk about the line because I really dig it. We've had some more comments. Definitely want to pull these up. Fets animal style with chilies added. I didn't know you could add chilies.
Yeah, it's like chopped chilies. It's like pepperoncinis chopped up.
Oh, okay. That sounds fantastic.
I see. Here's a problem: is me and my wife order the exact same thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm usually the one that goes through the drive-through. Now, I don't like when they put the burgers and the fries in the bag
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of steams and the fries get soggy.
Yes. Yep.
So I like to get it in the box. And in order to do that, you tell them that you're going to eat it in the car. So they just put it in the box. The problem with that is, since I ordered the same thing as my wife, they think I'm eating 2 whole meals and hand me one placemat. And I always feel self-conscious. But yeah, animal style, 100%.
It depends my mood. There's times that, yes, animal style, and times no. Silent Heroes. So that's Ryan. He's been my best friend since like first grade. We for his bachelor party, we ended up going to. It's a good sobering yourself up burger if you go animal style, and we did that the night of his bachelor party. But anyways, going and taking a picture in front of the Divorce Fan in San Diego for Comic-Con. It's a tradition. And for those who don't know, in Mission Valley, there's this like fast, speedy divorce van that our crew always takes a picture in front of. Let's see here. PD Dubs, I was able to snag a San Diego Comic-Con glow-in-the-dark big chap today. Yeah, save for the turtle stuff, it seems like everything else was pretty easy for Neca today. Looks like Crystal Blanc 79 said he got a glowy alien too. Woot!
That's Christian.
Is it?
I know Christian, yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome. And then Bryman's totally awesome collection says, is that Ghostbusters figure gonna be available anywhere else? So it's the Ghostbusters Comic-Con exclusive Totally Terrible Night, and I love the title they gave it. Is going to be available on HasbroPulse.com in September. I would assume as we get closer to September, they'll give us a specific date. Overall, though, Hasbro and Funko are probably the worst or the toughest to get exclusives from at Comic-Con. Like they do a lottery system now. There's really no guarantee you even get a ticket. It's gotten really, really, really hard. But before that, people would camp out for days just to get a ticket to come back at a certain time. So I usually avoid Hasbro, but I have friends that go, and they'll usually pick up things that I'm looking for. My first stop is usually the Neca booth, mainly because I love their movie Turtles figures. And this time, they did a set for the Turtles coming out of their shells tour, which, if you don't know, it was a terrible musical. And if you Honest Trailers did a really good Honest trailer for this show, so definitely check that out if you've seen like a 4-minute kind of course on this awful abomination. But still, I thought it was a really cool set, and really I felt like out of all the turtle sets they've done so far, this one was very, like, it's almost a joke. Like, I don't know anybody that would necessarily go out of their way to wanting this. But for some reason, scalpers are all about them, and these had to drop on Target or Walmart, and these ones are supposed to be on Target today. And they limit it to 1 per person, and they were sold out before, like, I put them in the cart, sold out before I could even buy them today. It was the case for a lot of people. And it's just a big bummer that NECA has to be an exclusive for them to make it and sell it in the United States, because Playmates has the rights, and people can't get them. Like, normal people can't get them. It's really frustrating. But it is what it is. And so I did not get the turtles coming out of their shell pack today. Maybe all the scalpers that pick them up are going to be sitting on them for a while, because I didn't think there would be that big of a fall for this set, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I can't believe they made that guy. And so anyone who has any kind of like interest in that stuff is going to jump at it, because it's like, of all the things to choose.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely things that I own where it's like, wow, I can't believe they made that into an action figure. or like Funko is like the number one. Like they just do crazy stuff.
Oh yeah,
I've seen this before, but like the Sir Isaac Lime Otter Pop, like there's no reason anyone should have a Sir Isaac Lime figure, but I saw that they made one, and I'm like, holy crap, that's my favorite one.
So Lime was your favorite? I don't remember the blue. Blue was always my go-to.
Louis Blue Raspberry was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, I think 2 years ago. So if anyone wants all the flavor guys, good luck. So mixed up.
That's why I really have resisted getting fully into Funkos, because it does get insane. It does get insane. Fets asked, best place to pre-order the NECA Back to the Future figures. I pre-ordered mine on Big Bad Toy Store. That's usually where I do my pre-orders, but I think they're on Entertainment Earth as well, and probably any other major toy dealer. So kind of pick your favorite. What I like about Big Bad is they have a loot or pile of loot option where, say you have stuff pre-ordered, they'll hold it for you until maybe you get so and so much, and then you ship it all together instead of paying separate shipping for all these different items. So it saves you money on shipping if you don't mind not getting them right away. Marty McFly asks, which company made the Back to the Future 2 item? And I believe he's talking about this one, which was this really cool exclusive by Super 7. And it's a 3 3/4 inch, so like old school Kenner Star Wars scaled reaction figure. It's by Super 7, and they did this really cool card backer that is, the hoverboard, and it was really cool. It dropped today. It was $20. It is sold out now, but I was able to buy this item from Super 7. So just really cool. They did reactions for Back to the Future back when Funko kind of picked it up from Super 7 and did it like a mass retail, but they were really cheap. I didn't like a lot of those reaction figures, but they took it back in-house at Super 7, and the stuff they've been doing with the reaction line has been fantastic, and they're going back to the Back to the Future license, and this is a really neat exclusive, which is the figure I think is identical to the main release. Is just you get this really cool card back. So but super7.com, if all their exclusives are doing different ones every single day. This was one of the ones they dropped today. Yesterday they did a really cool glow-in-the-dark Baxter Stockman as part of their Ultimates Turtles line. So I did pick up this. It is sold out now, but I will say, compared to NECA, they're staying up a lot longer. They have a much better, more secure ordering system to not allow bots to just buy everything up.
It all makes me anxious.
What?
Exclusives. Like, they're always cool and weird, but geez, man, the fight to get them.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Peta says, I'm honestly terrified of pre-orders. So many horror stories. It depends who it is. Walmart's pre-orders were awful this year. Just absolutely awful. They destroyed a lot of the toys. But some do it really well. And Super 7 does a really good job with their pre-orders, so I will give them that. But you're right, it can be stressful. Giraffe named Jarul said, I think it is the coolest thing for a Back to the Future exclusive figure. Giraffe named Jarul, I agree with you. I think there's something about that hoverboard look. I have the Matty Collector. Hold on.
It's definitely 80s. No. There's no.
I'm gonna knock something over. I don't want to knock it over. But I have the Matty Collector hoverboard. It's just a really cool design. It's so late 80s, early 90s. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then let's see. I want to cover some of the other things. Oh, this set that I picked up, released earlier, is the Dennis Nedry exclusive Comic-Con exclusive figure from Mattel's Jurassic Park Legacy line, or Jurassic World Legacy line. And if you don't know the Jurassic World Legacy line, it's this amazing toy line where, yes, it's supporting Jurassic World and stuff, but what they did is they also had a subline where they called Legacy, and they've been releasing dinosaurs, vehicles, and figures from the original Jurassic Park movie. And while the dinosaurs were really cool on the old Kenner line, they really missed the mark on a lot of the humans. And the past couple Comic-Cons, they've done exclusives. Last year's, or maybe it was the year before, they did a Hammond figure, which was really cool. And I think now they packaged him in another, I think, Target exclusive set that came with, was it Nellie Statler and a couple of the Raptors. But this thing is really, that was just this was kind of a simple boxed item, but the packaging here is so cool. You have the Barbasol can, and if you click the top where you would have the shaving cream come out, it actually has quotes, Dennis Nedry quotes from the movie, which is a lot of fun. And as you can see it has a little mini Barbasol can. It has a little pie. He puts the shaving cream on. I always thought that was so funny when I watched the movie when it first came out. And you have his bag of cash. So I think it's really cool. And it opens it up for, I hope they do other versions of Nedry, like, you know, when he actually gets killed by the Dilophosaurus, he has like
in the rain gear with the, and then a version with the spray in the face.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity there, but they've never really done a true Dennis Nedry figure. I think the Kenner line had a really awful version, and this one looks really, really cool. I really dig it. Let's see. Super 7 had 12 Toxie Deluxe figures 2 days ago. I was able to call the store and buy one. It was incredible. I think I missed that, but I have I don't know where he is, but you can see the review on the channel. But the Super 7 Toxie Ultimates figure is fantastic. It looks great. It just looks fantastic. But yeah, it is weird this year because usually every year, you know, especially preview nights, I have a crew of people that we get there early, wait in line, and then we hit the floor and we try to pick up, you know, get everything off of our list for the convention exclusive. And this is the first time that isn't the case. And, you know, it's buying it online, and different retailers are doing them and in different ways. And it's just all over the place. And it's hashtag kind of first world problems because now everybody has access to buy them, which is cool, which is great. But there is just something that is nice about people trying to find them all that night and get them all that night.
Right.
Silent Heroes asks, how do you tackle which ones you actually open? I'm an opener generally, so it's very rare unless the packaging is so amazing that I don't open it up. And I gotta say, this one, the Marty figure, I feel like I gotta keep it in package. What do you think, Ralph?
Yeah, I'd say for that, yeah. There's not a lot I'm an open box guy. There's a couple things I have on my shelf where I'll get two of them. I think it was 2 years ago. It may have even been last year. I don't know. Time has no meaning anymore. I actually was so afraid because there aren't really a lot of Green Lantern Funko Pops, and I'm not really a pop collector. I have a lot of them, but I really limit my stuff down to a few things. And one of those things is Green Lantern, which there is not a lot of Green Lantern stuff. And so a couple of years ago, there was a Comic-Con exclusive, but it wasn't at the Funko booth. It was at a separate place, and it was a Kyle Rayner White Lantern.
Oh, nice.
And I was so anxious not to get one that I went on eBay, pre-ordered one from someone who was selling them for fairly close to the market price. Yeah. So I got that version that you saw there, and then I got a glow in the dark version, which I have in the box still. But I mean, I was so anxious. And then I had a couple of Green Lantern friends from back east who were like, hey, if you can track that down, could you get me one? So I ended up going to Comic-Con, and it was the easiest thing to get because it wasn't at the Funko booth. Yep. They just had like walls of them. And I just, could I get one of each? And they're like, yeah, cool. And so I got it. And I was like, they were in really good shape, really good paints. The boxes were really crisp. Yep. Took it to the room, came back to the con so it wouldn't get kicked by, the crowd. Send it off to the dude, my friend Myron, who runs the blog Oa, and had to wait like 3 weeks to get mine. And I'm like, I want to open it up because the way Comic-Con goes, it's just nonstop lines, and so for me, going online is a little bit makes me less anxious because I mean, you still know that there's other people fighting for whatever you want to get, but the claustrophobia of Comic-Con lately has just been like, it's pushing and shoving. And that I can't abide. And that's like even pre-virus. Like I can't even imagine. I wouldn't even be able to handle any sort of crowd, let alone a Comic-Con crowd. So it's got its pluses and minuses. I do like the atmosphere. Usually if there's like a con exclusive, it's something that I'll get that's weird from like a smaller company. And the line is like totally manageable. Back in 2008, 2009, you were witness to this. I worked for a comic shop that was also an online toy dealership. And so I was given a list and I had to stand in like Mattel lines for like 3 hours.
I remember
standing. I first met our friend Illyrio in 2006 or 2007, somewhere around there, while I was standing in the NBC Universal line waiting to get like an office toaster. Like my boss would just give me, no, it was a Battlestar Galactica. It was a Battlestar Galactica toaster.
That toaster was awesome.
And then it was the Dwight bobblehead. He just handed me a bunch of cash and said, I need to get 2 of those toasters and any Dwight bobblehead you can get it. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't care about this stuff because it wasn't Green Lantern or Star Wars or, but I was just getting anxious being in the line. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it's a lot. That's where, especially now since they really limit preview night, like preview night is my exclusive hunt, like it is. I try, and again, usually I have a professional badge because we do the panel, and there's a separate line for professionals, and we get there really early, and they let them all in, all the different lines kind of at the same time, and most people go to Funko, or most people try to go to Hasbro. That's where I go Neca, usually try and knock Neca out real quick. Then I'll go Gentle Giant because sometimes they'll have some cool stuff. And then I'll run to Super 7. Super 7 is usually still manageable. And really just try and get everything that I need to get that preview night. So then that way there's no more stress the rest of the con. I don't have to wait in line for anything. And just make peace with, if there's some that are elsewhere and maybe I can get them, maybe I won't. It's not the end of the world. And I think that because, I've been to 15 or so, 16 Comic-Con, something like that. But the advice you gave me for the first time I went, which is in 2006, you went the year before in 2005, and even then it was a lot easier back then. But it was just like,
it was way easier back then.
Way easier. But even then you said you can't do everything. It is impossible to do everything. Yeah. Just pick the things that you really like. Do those things and then just let Comic-Con happen, and then
just enjoy it. What was funny is like I think those first couple of years, my friend Lenny, we would go down together. He would pre-order his tickets and get the room and stuff. We would show up on preview night at Wednesday, get there, take the train, get there around lunchtime, have lunch. Then I would go buy my weekend ticket on Wednesday. I just go up to the thing, and I was able to buy all 5 days on Wednesday. And Saturday would sell out Saturday afternoon. It was so nice. We would go to the Lost panel every year. It was in Ballroom 20. We'd show up an hour before it started, and we'd get like second row, something like that. Like it was so nice. And I think that first year was the only time I actually like pre-ordered an exclusive, and it was through Gentle Giant because they were handling all the Star Wars merch. They had a Princess Leia exclusive hologram where she's bending down to put the Death Star plans into R2.
A
hologram version. Went on Gentle Giant, pre-ordered it, walked up to the booth, gave them my name. They handed me my figure. Like, it was so nice.
Yeah.
It was so nice. But then the year that Graffiti, I think Graffiti Designs did the Green Lantern, Hal Jordan's in every color.
Oh, I remember that.
Spectrum.
Yeah. Yep.
They were doing like 2 a day, and there was like 8 of them, I think.
Yep.
Those were nuts. And I was working for the store at the time, and I was getting anxious for that.
Yeah.
And we ended up with like nothing. We ended up with like 2 sets of like green and an orange.
Yep.
But I can't. There's something about that makes me anxious. I'm so glad that movie theaters, well, not right now, but they have like assigned seating. Because it's that mentality of like waiting in line and getting a good seat. I can't deal with any of that.
Yep.
So I don't really. I try to stay away from exclusives, but man, if there's something Green Lantern out there,
you got to do it.
Yeah. I have like 20 Green Lantern figures right here, mostly pops. I have this Kotobukiya statue. God, it's so awesome. It's my favorite dude. So yeah, just I feel like I'm glad I don't have to deal with that, but I'm assuming that with you doing the stuff online is giving you sort of anxiety.
That it is.
You can't see where you are in the line,
and you don't know, Lolo Pap says, I like the Jessica Cruz Green Lantern. Just in general,
I guess so. Yeah, I have what is a Jessica Cruz Bombshells. What do they call this? It's the mystery minis. Yeah.
Oh, old school. Shinobi says our Crawler Green Lantern versus Predator exclusive a few years back. Was that the Neca one? Because I think
they had the Yellow Lantern Predator. Which, if you read, I mean, no one cares. If you read the Sinestro Corps War, there's an artist named Ivan Reese, and he would just fill the page with like hundreds and hundreds of characters fighting a space battle. And in one panel on one page, it might have been Sinestro Corps War or Blackest Night. In the background is a tiny yellow lantern that was clearly a Predator that he just threw in as an Easter egg. So, so for them to do that is really cool. Someone was really paying attention.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Silent Hero says, this is back to that original questions you open. I'd buy 2. My cases would be awful because I hate to open anything. I think it just depends on your preference. For me, it's the just displaying and kind of posing them in different ways. Like, I'm in my mid 30s now. I'd say it's great about having kids who get to play with toys again, and see like that imagination spark in their own mind, which is a lot of fun. But as an adult now, the joy for me is like making cool displays and stuff. And if you watch my toy hunting video, I've been slowly putting in those Centurions, and now I've been trying to figure out how am I going to like display the Centurions. I only have 2. But it's like they have this space, and like how do I, dynamically kind of set up that square to be really cool. So I got this NECA stand, and I put Ace McCloud up there.
On a couple of your videos, you mentioned that you're not great at posing figures. I need to get into your place because I feel like I am. Yeah, I feel like I am. I like a really dynamic like poses. I have like nothing here that I can pose. It's all just vinyl. It's like, I can't.
To me, it's like I get them. I see some people like toy photographers on Instagram or their YouTube. They look incredible. They do an amazing job. And so I do it. I like it, but I know I'm not the best by any means. Or like there's a really Dan Larson runs Toy Galaxy. He came to my toy convention last year. Really nice guy, really kind person. He does a really good job with his toy photography and stuff like that for his channel. Just a fantastic, fantastic job. Lola Pap, you missed the beginning of the show where we talked about the Hasbro Comic-Con exclusive plasma series. Louis Totally. The one thing about that Louis Totally, I really want it in hand is we haven't really got a great shot of the face sculpt or the head sculpt. It's all kind of far away shots. I really want to get in close and see what that looks like. So I can't wait to get that one in person. I will review it here on the channel. So make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, click on that bell icon for when that episode drops. But yeah. Lilibap, do you have the Kenner Batman animated series figures? Yes, I do. I have plenty. My display is kind of disheveled right now. I need to fix it, but they're all up there. All my Kenner Batman animated and Dark Knight and or Batman and Batman Returns stuff is up there.
A smaller version of that, dude.
I love the Imperial Godzilla. It's one of my favorites. It's like, at least for probably us, like the 85 Imperial Godzilla is just like my Godzilla. That's like, but speaking of Godzilla, Neca is losing the Godzilla license. So after I think August or September, no more American collector grade Godzilla figures. Are you picking it? I picked one up earlier week. Are you picking any of them up?
My Godzilla shelf is really sparse. They take up a lot of space. The tails and stuff make it really hard to display. Like I have this Mecha King Ghidorah, and he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is he's long this way.
Mm-hmm.
He's long this way.
Yeah.
So it's like look how much space he takes up.
Yeah.
So I got to stick him on a whole different shelf. He also really makes a great back scratcher.
So while I was toy hunting for the Casey Jones and Foot Soldier pack, the cartoon one, I decided since NECA's, they're not going to be, I love the NECA, but I haven't bought any yet. I picked up one NECA Godzilla figure, and I went with, because to me as a kid, it was watching the old Godzilla movies when they would show them on TV. And like the Mothra versus this one is just like in my mind, like that's the Godzilla that like I grew up with. This version. So I'm really, so I was like, I kept putting it off. I was like, I want to get one, but it's one of the ones that's, if you go to a Target or whatever, there's just tons of different variations. And so I was like, well, since they're going to lose the license, there's not going to be any company making Godzilla or collector figures for the American market. I was like, I'm gonna pick one up, and so I went with the Godzilla versus Mothra, which I'm pretty pumped about.
That's cool. Yeah, we're doing that as our 100th episode on Kaiju Podcast.
Nice.
We're like 5 away or something.
Are you? Because I know this is your last season, and when's the finale? Like the series finale?
So we're gonna wrap things up on our 4th anniversary, which is January, like 1st or 2nd, 2021, and that'll be episode 104, I believe. So we're coming down to the wire. And,
wow.
But it's not. The thing is, it's like, considering my normal schedule and Jorge's schedule, like it's pretty impossible to find time to do this. And since the beginning of this 4 years ago, we've never missed a Monday deadline ever.
Yeah.
5 o'clock every other Monday, a new episode drops. And so I'm like actually really proud of it, because it's like, of all of my shows that I would be able to keep the schedule on, this isn't the one. This isn't the one. So what's happening is we're gonna have that done, and we're gonna take a break. But there's always new kaiju movies to watch. So maybe we'll do one once a month, every couple months. So it'll be fun. If you stay subscribed to that, one will just pop up in your feed. So I'm excited.
Yes. So for those that don't know, Ralph co-hosts a Kaiju podcast. So it focuses on, Kaiju films, films that have a big monster in them of some such a short sort, with a mutual friend, Jorge Garcia, you might know from Lost and other programs. And it's a really great show, and you guys have been doing it for a while. you're coming up on the last few episodes, which is kind of cool.
And I think so for anybody who's uninitiated this stuff, I guarantee anyone who's watching has at least seen one monster movie that we've done an episode on, and our episodes are self-contained. So you don't have to listen to the podcast. You can, like, if you happen to come across like Peter Jackson's King Kong and you watch it, you're like, oh, I wonder what Ralph and Jorge think. You could go find that episode and it's self-contained. You don't need any sort of primer. It's just, we just talk about that movie. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm really proud of it. It's a fun show.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really neat. Also, I love your all's artwork. I freaking love it. Before we get to that, but where can people find it? Is it just at Kaiju Pod in most?
You can go to, if you go to kaijupod.com, that'll take you to the website where all the episodes are. That'll have links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and stuff. Or if you just type in kaijupodcast.com, I think that takes you to the YouTube version.
Nice. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Old school Shinobi. I saw there was a small pic of King Kong versus Godzilla squaring off against each other in a scene from the new film on the box art. The new Mates Toys. Yeah, and because it was supposed to come out in March, we were coinciding it with the toy convention that I do here in Raleigh. But it got pushed back to October. It probably get pushed back to 2021.
I know.
But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, we have it scheduled. we we've done some movies where there's the release date is set, and so we will continue recording and banking episodes and bypass that episode and then go back and like slot it in. So like we've already moved this one twice. Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, we're coming down to our final episodes. So if it gets pushed again, it's just going to pop up as a bonus episode down the line. Okay, well, that's going to be bonus. That's good because it needs to be done. Oh yeah, it's going to be done. Yeah. But what the artwork you're talking about, I've seen the artwork, and a few months ago, some footage got linked from some sort of conference that like was showing the upcoming slate of movies, and they had like, it was probably a 1.5 second footage of Godzilla versus King Kong from the movie, and that image is now painted on the back of the artwork, and it's a picture of did you pull it up? It's a picture of Godzilla. It's Godzilla versus King Kong. We know how that looks. They're fighting each other, but if you look closely, they're standing on an aircraft carrier. So I'm trying to think if your G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, what is the USS Flag? USS Flag, yeah. It's how big is that? 7 feet? 7.5 feet. Okay. Now, the Godzilla figure that came out with Godzilla 2014 is a 3 foot tall figure, 3 foot long. Yep. Do you think that's to scale? It could be. It would take up half of the aircraft carrier. Yeah, because the USS Flag, and I have a complete one. There it is. And let me look at this picture again. Dude. I think it would. It would be fun. I think it would kind of fit. And what's kind of funny is for a while I displayed the big T-Rex that Mattel did last year. It's right there. Oh, you can see the hoverboard. But I had the big T-Rex. I had it on the aircraft carrier, kind of eating some Joes and the planes and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it could. I think it could work that way. Have you seen that Godzilla figure? Huh? Have you seen that Godzilla figure? Oh yeah, no, it's my buddy John, who I do the podcast Toy Geeks with. He had one for a while that he was trying to sell. Eventually, it did sell. But the one thing about fitting it on this aircraft carrier is the tail. The tail, when you attach it to the figure, it's got at least 2 or 3 feet. It's huge. It's huge. Yeah. And so while they clearance that figure a lot, it is going up in price. Absolutely going up in price. Right. If I had any room whatsoever, I'd want it. It's a great freaking figure.
when we were preparing for our toy convention, NC Toy Con, we were going to sell tickets to Godzilla versus King Kong. We kept that big figure as like our mascot, so we would kind of have, and it would have
Right.
and to pass out about the convention. But anyway, 2020 happened, and that got canceled. But Fetz has a great question: is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man a kaiju?
Yes.
Now, will Ghosbusters ever be on a kaiju pod?
You know, we've talked about we've discussed trying to do like our final episode's going to be a list show, and we're gonna break down our favorites. We're going to talk about our favorite movies, our favorite like costume characters, stuff like that. We keep talking about this, about doing our top favorite kaijus in non-kaiju movies, and kaiju is just Japanese for, I believe, strange creature. And I believe dai kaiju means a large strange creature. So the Marshmallow Man's definitely a kaiju because it's a strange creature. It's not normal. Absolutely 100%. But I always wanted to do that. Our favorite kaijus in non-kaiju movies, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or Chev Chelios in the movie Crank 2, where they have a Godzilla fight and they have like a giant version of Jason Statham's head that looks like a rubber mask. Godzilla makes an appearance in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is Honey, I Blew Up the Kid? Like, it could be like literally anything.
Oh, yeah, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah.
There's like a ton of movies where they just have like giant creatures and they're not necessarily kaiju movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can see.
Anything is possible. Some more comments here. Let's see. You got the 3.753 Joe's pre-ordering from Walmart now for that USS Flag. I am not pre-ordering any of the Joes, the retro Joes, because they're new Joes. They're basically re-releases of the new figures. They're not the vintage old school GI Joes that have an O-ring and they're just classic figures. So I am not getting any of them because they're kind of modern figures, and I'm like,
there's like nothing more exhilarating when I was a kid than to be able to fix a GI Joe rubber band in the middle of that little black rubber band. And, when you figured out how to do that and do it successfully, you felt like you were part of GI Joe. You felt like a medic.
Yeah.
And I loved that aspect of it. You would sit there and you would twist the top and see how long you could get it to spin, and then it would come loose. And then what's your favorite Joe character of all time? Your favorite Joe figure?
Stereotypical Snake Eyes, right? It's Snake Eyes.
I mean, Snake Eyes.
Not counting Snake Eyes.
Okay. Mine's not Snake Eyes. Or Storm Shadow.
My favorite, and it's just because I have a sentimental attachment to it, is the Tiger Force Duke. And it's not a particularly amazing character, but I remember buying that figure. I think I got it at my local swap meet, and I don't know why, but just like it wasn't blonde, it was more brown haired, and it just reminded me of my dad. And it's really maybe it's sad in a way, but I thought it was just a really cool figure, and I love the Tiger Force Duke. So that was like my leader of all GI Joes and all of that scale. He was always my leader. So the Tiger Force Duke was mine.
My dude was Barbecue. I love Barbecue.
Yeah.
I thought he looked cool. And then I remember I went into the kitchen and I cut out a piece of foil and I gave him Silverhawk wings. I gave him little wings like Silverhawk figures.
Yeah.
So then Barbecue could fly. That's how old I am. If anyone wants to know how old I am, I'm not in my mid-30s.
Yeah, it is weird being now 35. Because when we met Ralph, I was 20.
I know. I just posted that picture too.
Oh, of us, yeah, as little kid from 2006 Comic-Con. But
Right.
the thing that shows to me, like friends that I have that have kids and don't have kids,
Mhm.
and I'm a firm believer if you don't want kids, don't have kids because it's a lot of work. But Ralph, like if I had to compare, like you honestly look the same to me as you did in 2006. I look so much more tired and older than
I think there's a big difference between, let's see, so I'm 43, which would have put me around 40 or 30. So there's a big difference between wherever you were, 21
Yep.
at 35, as opposed to like 30 and 43.
I guess.
Yeah.
Even like our mutual friend Jana, she's like in her 50s. She does.
What?
Yeah, she's like maybe she's pushing 60. I don't know. But again, it's just like it's all my friends that don't have kids. Like, look at how rested you look, and just like look how nice your skin looks.
No, I've been trying to get light in here, so I'm not just being lit by the harsh computer screen.
Yeah, I am. That's true. This is not doing me any favor. Anyway,
I literally have no room for like a ring.
I do.
My monitor is this far from my wall. No room.
I always like the Crimson Guard and Grenadier Trooper and Sergeant Slaughter's trio of Rustabouts. Those are great ones. Sergeant Slaughter too. I love. He lives in like close to Raleigh. He's coming to a show this weekend at our like flea market. Sergeant Slaughter, man, he's great. Let's see other thoughts here. Are you excited to see Scream 5 and 20? I don't like horror movies, so I'm a bad person with that.
That's the thing about doing the VHS stuff is people assume that I'm a horror fan, and I'm not. I like action movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to get that across without like sounding like a jerk. But I remember seeing the original Scream. I was enjoyable, but I haven't seen a Scream since whenever that was, 96 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. We are in the last minutes of this live stream, Geek Dad Live, and we did want to talk about the rumors that Donald Glover is going to be starring as Lando in a Disney Plus TV series about Lando. Like,
I'm assuming
you had some thoughts about this, so I want to make sure you're given the floor.
I don't know. Have I mentioned it on this show? But I'm like the #1 Solo fan. Like I honestly believe, that I am the #1 Solo fan. A movie that I didn't care about, didn't want to get made. Heard that Lord and Miller were doing it, and I'm like, well, those guys can make anything good.
Yep.
Got excited about it.
Yep.
And found out that they got booted and Ron Howard is taking over. I'm like, oh, I'm back to not caring anymore. Found out that John Powell, who scored Evolution, was doing the score for Solo. And I'm like, okay, well, now I have an interest again.
Yep.
And then I remember that the big game, as they say, they had the commercial, the first trailer for Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm like, oh man, I just love Star Wars so much. And my favorite thing, and we're both Lost fans.
Mm-hmm.
We're both J.J. Abrams fans.
Mm-hmm.
I love Rise of Skywalker. I love The Force Awakens.
I don't love Rise, but I do love Force Awakens.
I totally get it. But the thing is, for me, is Star Wars was never about the mystery box. Mm-hmm. Star Wars was just an adventure.
Sure, yeah.
And then in the last act of the second movie, they throw a wrench into the works where it was like, oh, that's cool. That can mean this happens or this happens. What's going to happen next? Yeah. So it's a cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of the sequel trilogy relies too much on mystery box stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, where did Snoke come from? Where you have a lot of questions.
Yep.
Who's Rey's parents? Where did Rey come from?
That's the flaw. I love JJ, but I think that's hopefully after the sequel trilogy. I feel like JJ needs to break that trope because it's. I don't want to say tired because that seems really harsh, I love what he's done, but he needs to do something different outside of that.
So here comes Solo, which doesn't have any of that stuff. It feels like the most Star Wars-y movie since 1977. Like it feels more Star Wars-y to me than Empire Strikes Back. It's just good guys and bad guys shooting lasers and going on an adventure. And I love that it was just a pure adventure. So I would love nothing more than to see more of Han Solo and Chewbacca and their adventures. Donald Glover's Lando is not my favorite.
What? I love Donald Glover's Lando.
I love him. I feel like his Lando is consistent with Billy D. Williams. Because when you watch Solo and then you watch like Empire Strikes Back immediately after, like as soon as they meet in Cloud City, it feels like the same characters.
Yep.
But I felt Donald Glover was almost doing an impression, which is fine. But I feel like I think the problem is everyone has a Lando impression, and we just saw his. I'm just saying. But here's the thing. Any more from Solo Universe, I'm totally on board with.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be a prequel to the movie or a sequel to the movie, but I'm hoping that we get, I don't know. I kind of want it to be a prequel so we can have the Millennium Falcon on every episode, and I'm hoping it's a sequel just so we can see more of Han Solo. So I don't know, would you rather have a sequel or a prequel? Listen, dude. Granted, this was a blind box, but still, I'm completely happy with my little mystery mini Lando. He's got a little bobblehead.
I love the Black Series Solo Lando. It's a great Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Head sculpt.
They did Gentle Giant do a face scan?
It's the new like Hasbro. Their face scan technology is fantastic.
Here's the thing. I listen of all of the people in the movie Solo that I want to see more of. I don't need more of Lando. I'd love to see more of Kira and her stuff with Darth Maul. I'd love to see more of Solo and Chewbacca. Beck, I thought was interesting. His crew was interesting. But I mean, dude, listen, I'm not gonna watch a Solo show. He's just not my favorite character in that movie. But if they do a prequel, I'd like to see L3 and the Falcon. If they do a sequel, I'd love to see more of his interaction with Han Solo. So, listen, man, I love the movie. It's my fourth favorite Star Wars movie. Sometimes it's my third.
Treesaker says, but if we drop one drop in the fusion reactor was his most Billy sounding line.
That's my thing. You don't have to sound like Billy D.
That says, Ralph, all the wrong takes on Solo and not watching the Clone Wars. Sad.
Didn't I say I was going to watch The Bad Batch by today?
Did you?
No, I watched Batman 89 though. That was great.
Oh, because that's helpful.
Hey, there's three people from Star Wars, including Lando.
Yeah. That was did you tweet that yesterday? I don't know. I saw it.
Yeah. It was Biggs, Porkins, and Lando.
That's what I didn't know. Who did Biggs play in Batman 89?
He's the dad at the very beginning that gets mugged by the muggers.
Really?
Yeah. He doesn't have his mustache, so he looks a little different. But yeah, that's Biggs.
Go watch that again. I have never made that connection.
Yeah, the family that's lost in Gotham, he's the dad.
Porkins as Decker, right?
Eckhart.
Oh, Eckhart. And Billy D, of course.
Listen, guys, I don't hate Donald Glover's Lando at all.
You do.
I just felt like he was trying to be Billy D instead of Lando.
I thought it was great. It's fine. Um,
I feel like Alden Ehrenreich was trying to be Han Solo, not Harrison Ford, and I appreciated that. But anyway,
Tree Shaker says, "How good is Remnants Therapy? Sick track and Kiro's theme is beautiful." So some John Powell.
Yes. Dude, I love. There's a track or the train heist where as soon as the stormtroopers show up, the range troopers, which is an amazing design, they have like the fur collars. As soon as they show up, John Powell uses the original Imperial theme that John Williams used in '77. That theme got replaced by the Imperial March in Empire Strikes Back. So John Powell used that time period to use that original '77 music. It's great. And Giacchino used that same theme when Darth Vader is revealed in Rogue One. But all
right. Well, yeah, in Crimson Dawn, it'd be really cool to get into that. Again, you could watch the final season of Clone Wars.
I've been catching up on. I've been catching up on Schitt's Creek. That show's great.
It's great, but this not dropping not till like October on Netflix. So you got that.
You know what the problem is?
What?
Baseball's back.
Oh, I'm so pumped! My Padres beat your Angels yesterday in the summer games that don't matter. But
yeah,
we're playing Padres Angels are going to be playing a lot this year. So just be ready. All right. Well, that is a good place as any to wrap up this episode of Dad Live. Thank you for all those that participate in the chat today. Really lively chat on this episode. So thank you to everyone that engaged with us, and thank you to all the regulars as well. And again, we do these live shows every Thursday at 9:00 Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And we will talk about whatever the latest thing is going on in the world of Geek. And we talked about Ralph's Kaiju Podcast, which again is what's the best link for that? Is it kaijupod.com?
Kaijupod.com.
Kaijupod.com. And again, if you haven't seen some of the stuff I put out this past week, review that new Battle Cat from Mattel Origins. Which was a lot of fun. So definitely check that out if you haven't yet. And then on my toy hunting episode, found a Godzilla figure I've been looking for a long time, and also added to my Centurion collection. I have 2. That's my collection. You only need 2 to start a collection, right? So it's officially a collection.
Sure.
There's only 3 hero figures, so it's fine. But anyway, check those out if you haven't had those yet. Thank you to everyone, and we'll see you all next time. Hasta luego, and goodbye.
Watch Evolution.